Welcome to Really American. I am Michael Hayne. I am happy because fall is upon us. It is my favorite season. I love the brightly colored orange leaves. I don't love the brightly colored orange presidential candidates. Now, hopefully, much like the leaves, the presidential candidate decomposes and goes away in November as well. Trumpty Dumpty is basically notorious for alienating any voter that isn't some brainless, cultist, ultra MAGA nutjob that buys $500 marked up, gold spray painted crappy sneakers. Now, I believe he now just may have pissed off farmers in the state of Pennsylvania by essentially threatening to impose a 200% increased tariff increase on John Deere should they move their factories to Mexico. Let's take a look.
I just noticed behind me John Deere tractors. I know a lot about John Deere. I love the company. But as you know, they've announced a few days ago that they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States, so that if I win, John Deere is going to be paying a 200%. They haven't started it yet. Maybe they haven't even made the final decision yet, but I think they have. John Deere is going to, and anybody else that does this, because it's hurting our farmers, it's hurting our manufacturing. And if you do that, you're going to have a 200% tariff put on the product that you make in Mexico, right across the border. They think they're going to make product cheaper in Mexico and then sell it in for the same prices they did before, make a lot of money by getting rid of our labor and our jobs, and really a great name, because John Deere is a great name. I buy a lot of John Deere, tremendous. I'm one of their big customers. I buy a lot of John Deere product as a private person. But if they're going to do that, we're going to put a 200% tariff on everything that they want to send back into the United States, which means one of two things. Our country's going to make a lot of money, or they're not going to build, they're not going to open, and or they're going to sell it to another country. They're entitled to do that. If they want to build in the country, in the United States, there's no tariff. You can go ahead and you can build in any one of the 50 states. You can go ahead. But if they don't want to do that, we're going to put a 200% tariff on John Deere. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to announce very shortly, if they think I'm going to win, or if I do win, they're going to announce that they're not going to build in Mexico.
I love John Deere tractors. I once had a beautiful affair with a John Deere tractor. Like you've ever even fucking seen one that wasn't put in front of you as some political prop. Shut up. Anyway, again with the tariffs. Does Trumpty Dumpty, the supposed brilliant businessman, not understand that John Deere, if this happens, that their farm products will go up even more, which will kill consumers, but most notably will fuck over farmers? What Count Bankruptula doesn't realize is that tariffs can actually only work if the other country imposes tariffs high enough that it induces the manufacturers to move to their home country. But that's not going to happen. And again, like the other country is going to foot the bill, like they're going to pay the tax. And as if the U.S. manufacturer, as if the companies like John Deere are going to be like, yeah, you know what? We're not going to pass this cost on to the customer. That's not how it works, Trumpy Dumpty. Anyway, let's take a little bit more look into how these disaster tariffs will actually pan out.
Trump, as the Wall Street Journal editorial page said months ago, Donald Trump has proposed the biggest tax increases in this election through the form of tariffs. And who do tariffs hurt? They hurt consumers. They hurt middle-class Americans. They don't hurt the rich. They hurt consumers. They hurt middle-class Americans who can't afford the Trump tariff tax that they're going to get hit with.
Yeah, the Trump tariffs are, as you say, are actually a huge tax increase. It would cost the average American family something like $1,600 a year. And even worse than that, it would affect the people at the bottom in terms of the percentage income that they would lose more than the people at the top. So it's what we call regressive, favoring the rich over the poor, as well as Sam said and many other people have said, raising inflation and really having a negative impact on the economy. But I think there were two things about Harris's announcement yesterday that are worth pointing out. The first is that unlike Trump, who seems to make policy kind of on the fly, wherever he is, IVF, we're going to pay for it, we may not pay for it, whatever, she's actually starting to come out with very detailed plans on housing, on taxes, on small business, and so forth. And so she's running a campaign with policy, unlike the former president, except for these off-the-cuff kinds of things. And secondly, her proposal would increase taxes on the wealthy, unlike Trump's, which would decrease taxes on the wealthy, try to get people to pay their fair share, and try to take a stab at addressing our deficit, which you and I have talked a lot about. Trump has no plan for that. And what you saw.
No, Kamala Harris actually has a concrete, workable policy that will actually help working people. Trumpy Dumpty has a concept of a plan and basically anything that will help his billionaire donor buddies. Anyway, that is what this is. It is a consumer tax. But now we all know this, but how do we get maggots to understand what exactly a tariff is and how it's wrong? Let's see how that would go.
Orange Lord and Savior is going to be taking care of China with them tariffs.
Okay, so we already established you got your medical and law degrees from Trump University, but you also got your degree in economics from Trump University.
Yes, the Trump tariff was a disastrous and failed policy as part of Trumpy Dumpty's first administration, which essentially resulted in a consumer tax. Allow me to explain why that would happen.
Shut the hell up, libtard. Stop using them words.
Think of China as like the world's biggest warehouse. Now, if you impose a hefty tariff on imported goods, that country's not going to pay the tax. The manufacturer of those goods is going to have to incur a bigger cost, and you know what they're going to do?
Make more MAGA hats?
Well, I mean, that rancid cult merchandise does come from China. But no, you will be paying more. It's a consumer tax. So if you go to stores like Five Below or whatever, well, it's no longer Five Below, but when it comes to tech goods, you're going to be paying more. Because, you know, billionaires don't really like doing day-to-day consumer shopping, so they'll be fine. You, on the other hand, you'll be more fucked than you already are. No! The tariffs didn't work. They didn't work because, again, in order for them to be successful, the other country has to impose tariffs high enough that it incentivizes or forces the manufacturer to go back home. But it didn't. As this Forbes article pointed out, the Trump's tariffs cost more aid to farmers than nuclear forces. That's right. This country that loves to spend money on blowing shit up and turning children into skeletons, his tariffs resulted in basically a taxpayer-engineered bailout of soy farmers. Yeah, that's right. That was that scary socialism that MAGA always claims to know so much about, right? Yeah. I can assure you, MAGA, that money didn't come out of Trump's pocket. No, that came out of your pocket. Actually, it came out of the pockets of blue states. Because as you know, blue states pay the most taxes per capita and get the least back. We basically subsidize redneck red states. That's how it goes. Anyway, I am Michael Hayne. This is Really American. Please subscribe to our channel and check me out on my latest TikTok at Mike Hayne Comedian. Talk to you later.